of the box. I'm your host, Jim Andre, and my co-host, Bad Bradley Powers.
Sorry, did you say you was out of your box?
No, you're out of your box. And we got our special guest here, Donnie Lothridge, Donnie Carroll Lothridge, who is a preacher, right?
I was, yes, sir.
And also a bandit and outlaw for God.
Okay, you are a preacher and author. Now, Bradley, I see another guest here, but it says device is not connected. Do you see that on the bottom there?
Yeah, I that's new to me.
Well, that's why I'm giving you the news.
So he might not be able to. It could be David Nash. Is that David Nash, Jim?
It doesn't say. All it says is device is not connected. It doesn't tell me who it is. He's the only other person trying to get on, so I'm assuming it's him.
All right. I'm going to say try again. Try again. Let's try. Let's ring him on a different device and get him to try again on a Samsung device and get him to try again.
Well, maybe he has to use a different browser.
Yeah, maybe. And today we're going to listen to Donnie Lothridge preach to me and Jim about why we should be more holy than thou is already.
I don't know about all that, Brady. We're basically, I hope, going to talk about today and events and things going on. But yeah.
Well, you know, when you
Hi there, David. I was going to suggest, can you try again? Come back out and try again.
It said something about the browser is blocking the cam and microphone or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do there.
What browser are you using?
I'm just on my cell phone. I don't know anything about a browser.
I would say try a different browser if you could. I don't know.
Bradley, tell him that when he comes in, there should be an option that says allow. Tell him that when he comes in, there should be an option there that says allow devices. Yeah, he's got to click on.
When you come in to the beginning of the studio, there should be an option that says allow camera, allow voice. You should say that at the beginning. What I'm going to say is come out and have another go. Come in again and see if you can click on the options. Try one more time, David, and see.
See, now, what kind of a show is this? What kind of a show is this, Bradley? You do all these things the last minute, and then we start the show, and people aren't going to want to sit here and listen to us try to do all this stuff. This isn't a show. You do things the last minute all the time, and we end up looking like fools.
Try again, David. Try again, David. Thank you. Sorry, David appeared at the last minute.
That's your fault, not David's fault. No, don't blame David now. That's your fault he appeared the last minute because you just called him 60 seconds before the show started. And I wasn't aware of it. Donnie wasn't aware of it. Only Bradley was aware of it.
It's all right. It took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting you to call.
No. We didn't take you by surprise. You took us by surprise. Why are you twisting
I did take you by surprise.
That's a good try, though. That's a good try. I'll give you an A for effort.
I am full of surprises, I know.
That's a good thing
about, I don't see this going on any other shows. Do you?
Well, it's over with. It's only how long did it last? 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It's all over with. We're making a scene out of it, we're
making a scene out of it because the circumstances are causing us to make a scene. And the reason why these are these extenuating circumstances because you want to do everything the last minute all the time. You ever heard of such thing as planning?
I hadn't heard of anything as what?
Planning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Planning is random. In show business, your guests sometimes are random and sometimes they come to you at the last minute or sometimes they don't come to you at all.
You just called him at the last minute, Bradley.
Yeah, I did because he come to me at the last minute about being on the show. He'd come to me at the last minute about being on the show,
boy.
and I wasn't expecting that. So I called him. Yeah, I shouldn't have called him. Maybe I should have texted him instead.
And all we got here is a bunch of Facebook users that don't even give the names. Maybe we shouldn't do this show, and we're not starting out very good. I mean, there's nothing professional about us. But on the other hand,
that wasn't professional. What I did there.
But on the other hand, I get we at least we could say we're real, right?
We are raw. It was a possibility of having David Nash on the show, which he did try, but couldn't get on for some reason.
But
okay,
we do
so
have
Bradley, you wanna control everything, the guests and all that. So you take control of this and let's move forward.
Yeah, cool. He could be appearing, he might not be. I don't know, Jim. It's if he can get on at all. See what happens. Anyway, welcome to the show Out of the Box with Jim Andre, Donnie Lothridge, and myself, Bradley Powers. Thank you for joining us. And for the Facebook user who says excuses are like arseholes, this is not an excuse. This is showtime. That's what this is. And this is very real. And what we have here is a possibility of an extra guest, which I thought the viewers would actually enjoy if we can make it possible. And it could have been possible, but he couldn't get on the first time. So I don't know if we got that extra guest. Meanwhile, having Donnie as a guest is still thrilling and exciting, I believe. And we'll be discussing religions, paranormal phenomena. How does paranormal phenomena and religion embrace each other? Because what happens in the Bible is miracles. Are miracles real? Do miracles occur? Well, magic is real and magic occurs. If magic happens in the Bible, it's called a miracle. If it happens outside of the Bible, it's called magic.
But see, you know, you always stray to magic and the unknown when you don't even realize that birth itself and being alive is a miracle. Okay, I'm making a pot of chili, right? I'm making a pot of chili and I gotta go stir it every once in a while. So carry on, I'll be back.
Okay, cool. Oh, you're a chef as well, Jim. Well, Jim's a chef. Do you do any cooking, Donnie? I'm not much of a cook myself, I must say.
But I try to basically do crock pots, what I try to do. I like it when I cook.
Yeah. So, well, here's your chance to preach religion. You are Christianity, I believe. Is that right, Donnie?
Yeah,
and you was a preacher. I'm a Druid high priest, and I would do admit that I do preaching myself. Actually, I preach on my shows actually.
Yes.
Yeah, and I enjoy doing it as well. Yeah, I enjoy preaching the faith. The faith is what it is. It's preaching faith. A lot of people haven't got faith, you know.
Well, a lot of things cross both lines a lot of times too. Just like my alien abduction goes over into the UFOs and aliens and all that kind of stuff. So it's a big variety out there of stuff. But Christianity is, there's protection and help and all that, but it's in a personal relationship. It's not something, you know, the church is supposed to bring you into the presence of God and help give you guidelines to walk by. But other than that, it's just like a schoolhouse.
Where would they have it in?
Cooking is a form of meditation. In cooking, I suppose you have faith that with the ingredients you're going to compile together, and you're going to manifest those ingredients into something delicious. In your opinion, that's the theory anyway. Is religion is similar as well? You take the ingredients of God and Jesus and faith and divinity, enlightenment, wisdom. You take all these ingredients and put them together, and you end up with Christianity. For some, makes you wonder, doesn't it? Just a thought that was.
Yes, sir. But the thing about it is, once you connect to God and you get a real relationship going, then you understand that there's power there. Just like people seek power from all different places, but to help them in life and to move along. So.
And how do I go back to the index? Y'all send that applications or?
So how long have you been a druid?
Well, to be a druid, a fully fledged druid takes 20 years. I've probably been one maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I am like a druid, however, when you're 20 years, once you've been a druid for 20 years, you are very wise. You know, druids are wise anyway. It's very unlikely you'll meet a stupid druid. You know, or a druid. I had on one occasion in my life met a druid who had a big ego, and that shocked me, and it made me think, you're not a druid. You're definitely not a druid. You can't be a druid, not with a big ego. Druids don't have big egos. You know?
Yeah.
Do you have
Basically, that's the truth.
But the technology that was used on me by the aliens, they was able to look back in my life and see my encounters with God and my walk with God. Of course, I was very young then, but they could go all the way back to me being knitted together in my mother's womb, and that same technology the government had. And so when you talk about the beast and the things that's coming in Revelations and all that, I mean, this thing can be your judge, jury, and executioner, what I'm hooked to. So as well as police and everything else. I haven't seen much they can't do with it. And they cut my teeth out of my head to prove a point to me. That what I was hooked to is real. It ain't no joke. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm shocked that you went through that sort of you was tortured, basically. In your book, you have wrote an autobiography sharing your life story, and in that life story you were tortured by aliens, like extraterrestrials you were tortured by, and the government agency as well. I'm astonished that they do that. And like, were they both after the same information or different information?
Well, I was educated by the aliens on it, and then I was further educated by the government on it, because they went back before I was ever born to where I was in the halls of God, talking with him. So.
And exactly what was that conversation about, Donnie? Do you recall?
There was a family down there that was looking to have a baby and a son, and I was the one God picked. He got me right in the middle of a beautiful slide I was doing in heaven. I might have been rowdy in heaven. You can't tell. But anyway, I said, I don't want to go down there. I got everything I need up here.
All right. Would it be fair to agree that we're in a very random, unforgiving, chaotic realm? Wouldn't you consider that a description of the planet that we live on?
Yes, and it's supposed to get worse and worse. Not
so now,
better.
if we go all the way back to the beginning, right, with what religion teaches us as far as Adam and Eve are concerned, they ate of the tree of knowledge, the fruit of the tree of knowledge, right? And that was against God's will. God warned them, you can eat of any fruit in the garden, but do not eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge, correct?
Right.
Okay, now the serpent come along, tempted Eve to bite into that fruit. Eve tempted Adam to do the same. So what happened at that point? Explain to me exactly what happened after that occurred.
Well, God cursed the serpent first.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, all right. God cursed the serpent. But then again, I think that God might have wanted it to go that way because, I mean, he could have prevented it, even before it happened if he wanted to, because after all, he is God. So he went ahead, he cursed the serpent, and then he went ahead and cursed both Adam and Eve, correct?
Right.
He said, now that you have eaten of the fruit of the tree of knowledge, which, by the way, is our intelligence, you both shall surely die. Okay. He told Adam that he would toil the soil for the rest of his born days doing labor, right? And he told Eve, he told them both to go forward and multiply. And he told Eve outright that her pain will multiply and increase, great pain during childbirth. So now, would you agree that from that point on till everything that's happened up to this day, that it wasn't only a curse on Adam and Eve, but it was a curse on humanity as well? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, because he cursed the ground too.
So that's why I always say our intelligence is our curse. Okay, and what do I mean by that? Our intelligence is our curse because the Bible itself teaches you that's exactly what happened. Okay, so now, as an example, all other species in this world are free of that notion and concept of good and evil, right or wrong, God or no God. And they get along better within the perfect harmony of nature than we humans do, without such an inkling or a concept. They get along better with themselves than man does with himself, and man's supposed to be the most intelligent.
Yeah,
See,
but
for example, a cow grazing in the field is more than likely satisfied by doing just that, grazing in a field. But man, due to his intelligence, his higher intelligence, distorts the simplicity of nature and will never truly be satisfied until he self-annihilates. And what's coming is that man is so intelligent, the day is going to come when he outsmarts himself.
But through our intelligence, we always have a choice. We can choose good or we can choose bad.
But that's like that with everything. That's a normal thing within nature. You can have a bright, sunshiny day, and then all of a sudden the clouds and the wind come in. You got tsunamis, tornadoes, earthquakes. If a tsunami wipes out 250,000 people, we as human beings see that as a bad thing. But do you think nature itself cares in any way?
Well, God used nature a lot all through the Bible. But nature itself
is indifferent, right?
Right.
So what makes man different than, in other words, you see, what man doesn't realize is that he's just as much part of nature as everything else around him. What separates him, really? Explain to me what separates him.
Our intelligence?
Right here. Yeah,
right.
That's all up here, right?
Right.
The intelligence. That's the curse.
But we're always able to make a choice and a decision as to what we want or what we don't want.
Well, obviously, I mean, the majority of people, if they had a choice, they would love to be millionaires. How come only a few are?
Well, being rich is not a curse, but the way you get it is. I mean, could be.
Well, that's
it's not a sin.
Let's put everything in perspective. See, okay. Religion's been. How long has religion been around?
Oh, at least 2,000 years.
Yeah. How long have humans been on the earth?
Oh, I have no idea.
Well, they say probably about 250,000 years. So I don't know how long religion has been a concept, but for whatever time, thousands of years ago, go back thousands of years till this day. Okay. Obviously, the world, even since the coming of Jesus, all right. And I'm not knocking Jesus, and I believe that there was a man named Jesus that got crucified, right? Now, I can see if he got crucified, right, and the world started getting better instead of worse, I would see that as a completed mission, a mission that went good, right? But he's been crucified, he's shed his blood, and since that time, over 2,000 years ago, the world has gotten worse instead of any better.
But it's supposed to. That's the way it's written.
The amount of time that the concept of religion has been around, it's never made the world a better place to live in. So if it hasn't now, what makes you think it ever will?
Because it's all been about man's choices.
Man has
says,
always
"Leave it the way
looked
it
up
is."
at the stars
Well,
and the moon, the sun.
man is the cause and never will be the solution.
Man has always recognized there's a higher power.
Man is the cause and never will be the solution. Never.
You're right.
I'd like to say thank you, David Nash, for trying to join the show. We have to have another talk about this and see if we can get a preview going of trying to help you to join the show at a later date. Thank you for trying anyway, and welcome to the show, Candy Fowler. Thank you for joining us, and Donnie Randall is in the house, as well as Jim McFarland. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you near us.
So Donnie, technically, we're all paying the price for what Adam and Eve did, right? I mean, that's what the Bible teaches us, right? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I'm related to you, right? Say I was your son, right? And I committed a murder, right? Because I committed it, would you agree to be persecuted as well as myself?
No, all that's supposed to be changed, Mr.
No. I'm just asking a question. It's a yes or no answer.
It wouldn't be right, no.
Oh, well, what makes all this right in your eyes?
Because man still has a choice.
Have you ever thought God doesn't step in as a whole to help the world? He steps into individuals to help them.
Yeah. Even at times where he has to kill millions by flood. Yeah, I agree.
He hit God and Jesus. They come into you. And
So God is actually the one that performed occult, right? That's like an occult. He performed the curse on Adam and Eve. So we have words like divine, right? Divine, which means completely without sin. So if God used occult to curse Adam and Eve, how can God be divine?
Because he was protecting his people.
He wasn't protecting anybody. He had them protected in the Garden of Eden and he kicked them out. How's that protecting them?
Well, because all of their races being mixed up all the way up to Noah's Ark. And that's what you're referring to is the Great Flood. And that happened.
There's no mixed races today.
Sure there are.
Oh, how did he rectify it?
Well, he's coming back again, but this time he's not going to use a flood.
Well, what I'm saying is at one time he wanted to rectify all that with a flood, but it still wasn't rectified.
Hold on.
Right?
Right.
What?
Are you okay, Donnie?
Yeah, I'm good.
Was that a bad thing to do?
No, you good.
Yeah, like Candy says.
I'll be back in 1 minute. Instead of stirring the pot over here, I got to go stir the pot in the kitchen. I'll be back.
All right.
It's getting louder and louder, and I need
Candy said what?
And some of us are blessed with very little intelligence. I was with the Jehovah's Witness for 2 years. I met people who owned successful business that were wealthy, had lived in like mansions on the seafront of where I lived, and they were Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were highly intelligent as well. Why were highly intelligent people attuned to Jehovah? And they were like, the Jehovah's Witness community was like, they was all passionate, and the energy that they held for their God was quite amazing. Actually, I was impressed. I'd like to say welcome, Ascending Link, David Nash, Candy Fowler, Jesse Howe, and David Daly's in the house. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Jehovah's Witness, the energy, the passion that they had, highly intelligent people for the Jehovah, because they recognize it's a higher power. Give him whatever name you like. They recognize there's a higher power, a higher consciousness. And Jehovah doesn't come to save the world. He comes to them, into their life, and stimulated and activated their spirits. You know?
Right.
When you look at it like that. And that's Jehovah for the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right.
You know?
Well, God come to fulfill the law. Jesus come to fulfill the law.
You know,
and not
just
to condemn the world.
Yeah, just like Jesus did.
Yeah.
Jesus saved lives. Jesus has saved lives. I've met people who saved lives from suicide. He saved people for lives from being in prison, coming out of prison. He saved their life from drug addiction, alcoholism. Jesus has saved lives. How can Jesus save lives? But he does.
That's
I
what he went to the
recognise
cross
that's why
for.
I'm open-minded to the concept of all things. It pays to be open-minded to the concept of all things, because if you don't know, then you don't know. If you're not plugged into the God frequency, if you're not plugged into a higher consciousness, then you don't know, do you? Because you're not plugged into it.
Right.
You know, you need to recognise or be open-minded.
What did I miss? Anything?
I was saying about how the Jehovah's Witnesses are highly intelligent. I've met highly intelligent business owners, thriving business, lives in a mansion on the seafront. I remember the guy very well. I was really close to him, actually. And he lives in a mansion on the seafront, highly intelligent man. The reason why I'm responding to this, actually, is because Candy said, and some of us are blessed with very little intelligence. So is she suggesting that you can't be very intelligent to
Candy's got a good question right here. Wouldn't imposing the sins of Adam and Eve on us be a crime against our free will?
Well, through Jesus Christ, we have freedom. And we're able to move and be freely. There's a great freedom.
We're condemned even before birth. By God doing what he did, we were all condemned even before birth for a sin we didn't even commit. That's what the Bible teaches us. Now, if that makes sense to you, that's fine. But you know what? It's hard for me to swallow.
Yeah. Well, you're very important to God. Just like all of them.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Are you any good at swallowing?
Jesse Hall. Hi, Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you for joining us.
Facebook user says Christianity is just the biggest cult of all cults.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but yeah, it could be. It all depends how you want to look at it. Like we've discussed, it's all about choices, what you decide and what you want to believe and what you want to follow and all that. It's up to the individual, because we're all free moral agents. So
yeah.
How can you say we're all free agents when at birth we're born into an indoctrinated, and when we're indoctrinated into a controlling society? See, when we're not born free. We're not born free. So if we're not born free, how do we have free choice? In other words, when we're born, we got to conform to the constraints of society. There's no way around that. The first thing that happens is they give you a birth record, which is a birth certificate, okay? They know your identification, and they monitor you from your first day of life to your last, all right? Especially with all the technology they have today, okay? And then they give you a social security number, which is an identification number, to really keep track of you, okay? So now as you're an infant and you're growing into the society that's all around you, you conform to the constraints of that society. And the society that we live in is a controlling society, okay? They tell you what to do health-wise as far as vaccinations. They tell you you have to vaccinate your children. If you don't vaccinate your children, they don't go to school, right? They force you to do things. So my question to you is, where's the free choice, truly? Where is the free choice? Okay. Now the educational system itself is the same across the board, all the way across the board. You know why? Because that's exactly the way they want to teach you. It's conformity. See? You got to go by the book. You got to go by the book of society and learn the way society wants to teach you. You're going to learn what society wants to teach you, see? And then you're born into this society. It's got religion everywhere, right? So you're born into that you're brainwashed right from birth. Generations upon generations, thousands of years. There's no greater brainwashing. So I can understand. I can understand where the brainwashing comes in.
Well, you're covered under God's covenant at 12 years old, the age of accountability.
Now, as I was saying before, well, wait a minute. As I was saying before, religion hasn't been the answer for the last thousands of years for peace on earth, right? The world's not gotten any better. It's only gotten worse. It's so in the worst shape it's been ever in the way it is today, right? Man is on the brink of self-destruction, okay? And he's got the technology that exists today that can do it, okay? In order for there to be there'll never be total peace because there's nothing perfect within nature, and man is just as much of a part of nature as everything else around him, okay? So now what I'm saying is this would be a much better world to live in if you got rid of three things within society, okay? One is religion because that's used as a tool. It's a fear tactic. Keep your morals, keep you in line, okay? That's a doctrine right there. Politics, okay? That's designed to divide and conquer. Okay, we disagree. You're a Republican, I'm a Democrat. It breaks up friendships, marriages, families. Okay, it's all by design. But the biggest kicker is currency itself. Because currency itself is what causes the number one demon in the world. And that's not Satan. That's greed. What do we do for money? We beg for money. We steal, right? We do things we wouldn't normally do for money, right? We go as far as to kill for money. And that's why the currency is there. So in order for this world to ever be a better place to live in, there's three things you got to get rid of: religion, politics, and currency. But then I know you got questions like, well, how do you maintain control? But you see, you want control, but you're not happy because you're being controlled.
But what you're saying is you want a one world government with one world currency, mark of the beast, and
you say mark of the beast.
That's
listen,
where we're feeding toward that right now.
The only beast in this world right now is man himself. Now, the lion is known as the beast of the jungle, but man is a worse beast than the lion. The only beast in this world is man himself. Okay? Man has no one to compete against but himself, no one to fear but himself. Man is so intelligent that he has the capability of saving lives with one hand while deliberately destroying lives with the other. To me, that kind of produces an intelligence which is somewhat flawed.
Well, what we're running toward is also self-annihilation, like what you're talking about, the Battle of Armageddon, and all that was mentioned in the Bible. So,
well, we know we're only here for a short time. See,
right?
Each man's reality is different than the next. Okay, each man believes different than the next man. Okay, so the bottom line is there's no one truth. The closest to the truth anyone will come during this lifetime is what each individual perceives as being their truth. There are many truths. So the bottom line is there is no one truth. Don't forget now, this is a random, unforgiving, chaotic realm. So the bottom line is life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. And in this world, man is the cause, and he never will be the solution. Now,
Well, I agree with that.
you can blame it on something else like the beast. You can blame it on the devil. As a matter of fact, if you want to blame the beast, stop complaining about the 1%. It's not the 1%'s fault. The devil's making them do it, right?
I don't know.
You
I
know,
think they're ready to destroy this world and get rid of about as many people as they can.
Hey,
because they want a one world government.
If you believe that Satan and the beast is the cause of what the 1% is doing, who have control over you, more power to the 1%.
And they don't want religion, and they don't want all this other stuff. So, and just like God did back years ago in the days of Samuel, the people didn't wanted a king instead of serving God. And God,
you talk about all these people.
The public gets to where they're more outcry to get rid of God and get rid of all His stuff and get rid of the United States, because in God we trust. Then God will give them what they want. He'll remove His people and His spirit from the earth.
See, now even Candy says you can't blame anything external. You can't blame anything external. And every time I have a conversation with people when it's religion related, the cause is God, the cause is the beast. We gotta take responsibility for our own actions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what
if we annihilate ourselves and become extinct, right? We got nobody to blame but ourselves. So what I mean to say is, if we want to have a conversation of how to make this world a better place to be, why does it have to involve fairies, leprechauns,
we don't talk about
gods and devils? Why does it have to involve that? Why can't it just be us?
Well, if and I believe what I'm hooked to is the beast, because there ain't much it can't do.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute.
You're talking about being in prison and enslaving a whole civilization that's left here on the earth at that time.
You're blaming the beast when it's your fellow man that's hooked you up like that, right?
Well, it'll always be
the beast didn't hook you up. The government hooked you up like that, right?
It's
the
always
government got that halo on you, right? So what do you blame? Why does the devil get the blame for everything that's bad?
I'm not saying the devil gets everything from bad, because God showed me all this when I was a kid.
Why does the devil get blamed for everything that's bad when the Lord Himself cursed Adam and Eve right from the get-go, which isn't a good thing? So you see, there is no separation. It's all the same. That's one of the biggest deceptions within religion, is that good and evil are separate. They're not separate. They're all the same.
From what I understand it from Adam and Eve is God said, don't eat from the tree of knowledge. And so what did Eve do? She picked an apple from the tree of knowledge, and by eating it, He gave them both wisdom. They recognized themselves. They recognized they were naked, and they recognized there was a God, and they even thought like a God. So He banished them from the Garden of Eden. However, Adam became the first prophet ever to live on the earth, and he actually went forth and promoted the gospel. He promoted God's word.
So what are you trying to...
God actually gave him, he became a prophet, and God actually forgave him.
In other words, they cursed themselves.
You know, so God did forgive them in the end. God forgave them.
In other words, they cursed themselves, is what you're saying, right?
For a period of time, they did. However, they put it right before they died. They put it right.
Yeah, how did they put it? Where did they put it? When did they put it?
By promoting the word of God.
Oh, I got to go stir the other pot. I'll be right back.
There you go. I was worried about them.
That's not listed in the Bible, what I just said, Donnie, but that's what I know. I know a lot of unwritten words.
Yeah. Well, that's just like what we were talking about earlier. Go ahead. Yeah. Solomon and his kingdom. I mean, Solomon's downfall wasn't having 300 wives. His downfall was letting them come in his kingdom and build temples and serving their gods.
That's right. We was discussing.
Yeah.
I like what you said, Candy. Religion isn't the answer. It's connection to ourself, because all is self. And you can use religion to connect with yourself, save your life, enhance your life. Religion can do the most amazing of things. As long as you don't shove it in people's faces, you can actually. But people preach in church because people come to church to be preached to, because a lot of individuals, a lot of humans like to be led. They like to be led by a shepherd, you know?
Right.
And a shepherd is normally a preacher.
Right.
Candy says, if we are a part of God, supposedly, why did the God of the garden get so mad at Eve for becoming like a God who was the God of the garden? Because God didn't want people to think like God, feel like God. He wanted them to worship and give praise to God, not to give praise or to any other deities, not to praise yourself or give praise to your egos, to praise God. God is a jealous God. I would admit that. You know, he wanted to give worship and give praise to him solely. If you gave praise to Baal, Beelzebub, Baphomet, he was offended by this. He said they were devil gods and you shouldn't worship them. And the reason why he flooded the earth was because a majority of earth were actually worshipping and giving praise to Baal, Baphomet, Beelzebub, amongst many other names. They were giving praise to them, and God was offended by this. The people were even paying homage to stone statues of gods. This offended him. Yeah. Because God is a jealous God, that's why. Basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate, because if you're divine, you wouldn't be jealous, would you? Whereas Jesus, if Jim says who is divine, I'll tell you, the word divine holds clarity in the English language. Divine are angels are divine. Jesus was divine, in my opinion. You know. Yeah.
Well, when I was young and seeking God and wondering about how the beast and all that was going to work and all the technology and what people would do at that time period, I was actually abducted by aliens not long after that, and hooked to technology that I had no idea how to even explain. So, and that's where we're at today.
And so, Beelzebub is a prime example of God's anger. Beelzebub, God's called Beelzebub Lord of the Flies, Lord of the Dung Heap. That was an insult at Beelzebub, because people were giving praise to Beelzebub. Because demigods, who are not creator gods like God is, they are demigods. They still can give power. They can still enhance your life. So he called them devils. King Leviathan's another one. He called them devil gods, and you shouldn't worship them. If you worship devil gods, you will go to hell, basically. Hi there, David Wilkes. Hi there, David Nash. It's always good. I feel the show's whole when both the Davids are here with us, you know.
I know. I'm like a bad dream. I keep coming back. I know.
Oh, the bad dream is back.
We're glad to see you.
I can't hear you guys.
You can't.
I said the bad dream is back.
I can't hear you. Uh-oh, something's up. Something's up. I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
Oh. That's because he's talking ill of God, probably.
If you didn't have all that hair on your face, Bradley, I might be able to read your lips, but I'm gonna have to go out and come back in. All right.
All right.
Yeah. Candy Fowler says, I went into the underworld when I was curious of the nature of things, and I met my shadow. That's right. There is another world out there which we cannot see. Reality, and you've got paranormal phenomena, which is called paranormal phenomena. It is a reality in itself in another realm, and there's more to life than what we see. And like, I know there is a heaven because I've encountered angels on 4 separate occasions. I know there's a hell because I've encountered demons and devils, and I recognize that. So you can't and if you say there's no heaven or hell, that's an opinion. Whereas I know for a fact that there is, by meeting these spiritual entities, and they came from somewhere. They weren't manifestations in my mind. They came from somewhere. They even spoke to me as well using telepathy. Because I am like a medium, you know, I attract spiritual entities, which I feel blessed, to be honest with you. It's a blessing.
When I was a child, I grew up in a haunted house, and two of the ghosts there took me out of my body and showed me how they were killed, and there was black shadows and
You guys
shadow
hear me?
people in the house and all kind of stuff. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Can't you hear us, Jim? Jim?
Jim.
Candy Fowler says, by knowing your own shadow, you know how to handle the darkness in other matters better. That's true, Candy. I'm a shadow mage. I've seen white shadows leave my body and
I can't hear you guys. Can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, sir.
I don't know. I guess there's some force that don't want me on the show today. I don't know.
Someone says those entities came from your mind. That's impossible because I've been touched physically by spiritual entities. I've been touched. I've been groped. I've been attacked. So they can't come from your mind if you actually can feel them.
That is true. It's not of the mind.
If it was of the mind, you wouldn't be able to feel them, would you?
I can hear you now.
Oh, good.
Right.
I can hear you now.
For a moment, we thought we'd lost you.
But yeah, Candy, that's the reason why I don't ever doubt anybody, what they say or the things they experience in their life. Because through those things, a lot of times you're being molded and shaped for your purpose in life. So, I mean, I'm not one of these smack you in the head with the gospel kind of people. I never have been. I just been mild and just meek and go on, you know, about my business. Because
yeah,
I don't know what's going on in your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're being molded or shaped for.
I've experienced quantum mysticism most of my life, and like from what I've seen and experienced, like I know for a fact that not everything is as it seems. There's a higher power. There's other spiritual entities out there, and like you'd have to be like maybe an atheist to say it come from my mind, or I'd have to be delusional or mentally unbalanced to start with.
You know, we're all reflections of each other, each experiencing a unique journey of our own. That's all it boils down to.
Yeah, we're all kin. We're all related. Just a matter of running your DNA back until it crosses.
Look, I've got an atheist wants to have an argument with me. He said, "Horseshit, Brad. All that bullshit like entities and Merlin come from your mind." They are the words of an atheist. Do you know what you do there? You go like that. You don't argue with them because they don't know. What do they know? What do they know? You know, everyone. We're all on a journey. Jim sums it up really well. Life is a journey to be experienced, not a problem to be solved. And all of us have experiences.
Now, Donnie, what do you consider other species on Earth here? Do they have souls?
As far as aliens go, what I met, no, they don't have a soul. They're more.
I'm talking about other earthly species such as animals and dogs and cats and insects and bugs and rodents and ants and stuff like that.
I think they have a spirit, but I don't think they have a soul. And I think they'll be in heaven. I think.
All right. Could you describe for me the difference between the spirit and the soul?
The soul and the spirit both are housed inside that body of yours.
Yeah, but what is the difference?
The spirit I can cast out from me to do things, but my soul I cannot. It stays inside of me. Because it's my makeup. It's the life force of God that lives inside me.
When the spirit is in the body, the spirit is a soul. When the soul leaves the body, it is a spirit. They're both the same, yet they are. When the spirit is in your body, it's your soul. When it's out of your body, it's your spirit. When you die, you experience your transition. That's your soul leaves your body, becoming a spirit in the next life.
All right, so they're one and the same, really.
Basically, yeah.
So they're one and the same. That's what I'm trying to get at. There is no difference.
only that the soul is using your body, or the spirit, it becomes a soul and uses your body as a vehicle to transport itself around in this realm. Without this body, you cannot transport yourself around in this body.
And there's one other thing that we've got to address is the consciousness, the awareness. Now you could be in a coma. You could be in a coma for 20 years. If you don't have the consciousness, the awakening of the consciousness, you're not aware of anything. So you're still alive. You're still alive, but you don't have any consciousness. You don't have any awareness. So what happens? What happens in a case like that? Say somebody's in a coma for 15, 20 years, right? So what's going on there, Donnie?
The human brain will only sleep so long and it'll wake itself up. Because I was in a coma, it was just unhooked from the rest of my body, is the way mine was. And I'd be awake for a while without able to move anything, and then it would shut back off again, and it would come back on.
Also, you could be in a coma for 20 years. You could be in a coma if they would let you be in a coma that long and keep the machine going. You could be in a coma and you're fully aware, you know everything that's going on, but you can't move your body. You might be able to blink your eye, but you can't move your body. Yet so you're active. You're psychically, your conscious mind is active, yet your body is not active. So the doctors and nurses consider you're dead. However, they keep you alive because they know you're not dead. You're alive. Your consciousness is alive. However, you are unable to move or function.
Now, I agree with this Facebook user right here. It says yes, the animals have a soul, plants, etc., have a consciousness, as they are live entities, right?
Yeah.
Water will respond to negative and positive, as shown by testing. So we're the most intelligent species in the world. And that's what I try to stress, is that we're no different than anything else around us in nature, okay? Even the plants and trees have a consciousness, okay? We're no different. We're no different. So why do we put ourselves above all else around us, like we're that? And we are that. We're the problem. And we will never be the solution.
We're also the bee's knees.
I don't know. You got over in the way monks think. Monks think everything's connected and everything's one, and they live in their little whatever you call them things they live in, palaces. And they pray and that's about all they do because they believe that way. So,
Daisy, thank you. Daisy is joined us. Thank you, Daisy 10 Ponies. She says consciousness is of the divine mind, of our source. It's the natural universe. If you so believe, if you are unconscious here, you are conscious somewhere else. And I like that. Thank you for sharing that.
No, she doesn't say you are conscious somewhere else. She says you are somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah, which means you're conscious somewhere else. Yeah. If you're unconscious here, you're conscious.
All right, let me ask you this, Bradley. Where are you when you're sleeping?
In theory, like you are asleep, your consciousness is there. However, because of our sight, we've got our etheric spirit, our ethereal spirit, we have an astral spirit, and our astral spirit can leave the body and travel and into other people's dreams or experience other experiences in other places along the way from our sight.
I've got to do a little traveling into the kitchen and stir that pot. I'll be right back.
Facebook user says, my grandfather was in a coma. He was non-responsive, but I spoke like he could hear me. When I said I needed to go, but would be back, he gripped my hand so tight I had to have help prying his fingers off so I could go. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's validating the fact that what I said is, even if you're in a coma, you're still conscious. Even if you are unable to move any part of your body except blink your eyes, you are still conscious. Although you may or may not be with us, you are still conscious.
Yeah. Before my mom passed away, I said, y'all want me to make her smile? Play the phone up where she can hear it. I told her about it being a butterfly. A big smile come across her face, they said, because I was on the road driving a trailer at the time.
Thank you.
She was in my conscious. She was out there for quite some time.
Mary King says Bradley speaks the truth. Thank you, Marriott King. I speak the truth because I'm a spiritualist. I've encountered numerous spiritual entities from a lower vibrational frequency like demons, and from a higher vibrational frequency like demons and devils. I've encountered angels. So I know from experience. I don't speak from opinions. These are experiences. That's how I know. All I can do is share that information and offer guidance. But if you don't believe in religion and you are an atheist, I respect that too. If you have never seen a ghost or spiritual entity, how are you expected to believe they even exist? Therefore, you're an atheist. I understand that, respect that too. You know. Basically. However, I know that as a spiritualist, which I'm proud to be a spiritualist, because being a spiritualist is following the right path, in my opinion, if you want to know the truth.
Yes.
David says we create. What we create is harvested and kept from us in this time. That's right. Because there's a lot of foul play in this world. It's foul play. They don't. We are all psychic, and that's the truth. However,
well,
our pineal gland is manipulated.
We are all gods in our own right. We are also creators, right? Our minds are limitless. We have imagination. We come up with ideas, with inventions that come into fruition. So we ourselves have the ability to create.
Yeah.
That's right. We are gods in our own right. We manifest our own reality, really.
Right, exactly. So when you manifest that a good and loving divine God cursed Adam and Eve from the get-go, that's what you're manifesting, and that's what you believe.
So that's like a positive and a negative. I try to always stay on the positive and never get over on the negative.
You know what? You can't have one without the other. But
I look at something and say,
but that's how you look at it. What angle you look at it from, and your decision, that's your concept, your personal concept.
Yeah, right? My bubble, what I live in.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, a lot of people will see a rainy day as being gloomy. I choose to view it as liquid sunshine.
That's right.
For some, this reality is a heaven, and for some, this reality is a hell, and they don't want to be here. They want to die. They want to be abducted by aliens. For some, I actually get high on life. I enjoy being here, and life is a gift. The gift of life is a blessing for me, but I understand not everyone else can say that.
I've enjoyed life regardless of the hardships I've been through, because I know it all has a purpose and a plan once I step out of this body.
Yeah. And I'd like to say thank you, Jim Andre, for wearing that hat.
Especially for you.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah, thank you, Jim. Yes, Candy Fowler says karma plays a huge part of your circumstances. You can't feel it, taste it, see it, but karma does exist, and it comes back threefold. If you put out good energy, you get good energy back threefold. You put out bad, negative energy, you get negative energy back. You know, allegedly.
There you go, Bradley. Read that one off.
Thank you. I am an experiencer, intuitive, and an empath, etc. Since the age of 4, I freaked my mother out. I have been told by many visionaries that the veil never came down for me. It took a long time to process and understand. Any thoughts about the veil not coming down like it does on many?
The veil, the only veil I can think of is the veil that was at the Ark Covenant, ripped from top to bottom when Jesus Christ was crucified, which allowed all of us to have the opportunity to go before the throne of God boldly. Because that's what Jesus' crucifixion done. It prayed the blood sacrifice.
There's two kinds of veil. There's the veil that separates us from ghosts and spiritual entities, and the veil is allegedly getting thinner as time is going by, and also the veil is at its thinnest at Halloween. For me, I went through trauma for 5 years as a child, that I had a veil come down like an invisibility blanket of magic, came down upon me and blanketed me from the trauma, it was like even though I was experiencing it, it was like I was not there. There was that kind of veil, like a magical blanket. So that does exist. I understand what you're saying. Why didn't it come down for you? Maybe it did.
Candy says there's so much more to our story than what we find in the Bible.
Thank you, Candy.
There is, because God's forming you and making you and turning you and twisting you like potter's clay.
Daisy Tempone says, even though I am an artificial realm, I feel the veil in different intensities. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, like Mary King says, look like brothers with the hates. Yeah, brothers hating each other. I think that's very sad. Brothers and sisters hating on each other. It's very sad. Never be a hater. Hate will eat you up inside and fester like an open wound. Don't be a hater. Hater will create sorrow and despair in you. And hater might feed your ego. In fact, hate can make someone feel good about themselves.
Well, you know, that was part of
because they really hate themselves.
That was part of God's curse right from the get-go, right? You want to talk about hate? Didn't Cain slew Abel?
Yeah.
All right. So whose fault is that? Cain's or God's?
God asked Cain about his brother and then told him his blood cries to him from the ground.
Oh, sorry. I've misread that. Mary Kings didn't say that. Mary King says we look like brothers with the hats. Jim looks like the American Bradley Powers. I'll admit that.
Facebook user saying when we come onto this planet, a veil comes down. That's what they heard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes. Facebook user says hate is akin to psychological and spiritual cancer. That's right. Hate is a disease like a cancer. Yeah, it is. And you normally hate someone or hate outwardly when you're not happy with yourself. You probably hate yourself and you respond to that by hating other individuals. It makes you feel better about yourself because the truth is you might be unhappy with yourself. Many people out there hate themselves, really. I enjoy my own company very much, but not everybody can say that either, sadly. Yeah, spirituality and religion can help you to find peace within yourself. Religion can do that too. I reckon.
It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks of you. What counts the most is what you think about yourself.
Yeah, very good point, Jim. Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Mary King. Candy Fallon, Daisy Tempone are here, the sisters. Sisters of Mercy. Donnie Randall says he's happy with himself. I'm really pleased with it, Donnie. You've had a roller coaster ride yourself, Donnie, haven't you? And look at you now. You're finding peace within yourself. Facebook user says Breaking Bad with Jim Andre and Bradley Adam Powers. Yeah, I look like Walter White from Breaking Bad. I don't know if you ever watched the series, Jim. It's an American television series.
Facebook user says hate is based from fear. This shows in wars and prejudice, etc.
Yeah. Candy, we are both proud of Donnie Randall for his achievements during his roller coaster ride in life. He has ascended and he is now happy with himself. He's started to find balance in his life, and that's a very good thing. Well done, Donnie Randall. Yeah, because
Facebook users asking, why can't I see all comments, guys? Well, it's probably the device you're using or some kind of glitch. It's pretty good modern technology, but that just goes to show you that there's nothing perfect. Not even us.
I have been
humans are far from perfect.
I've been experiencing loads of Facebook glitches on my groups, on Messenger, and so have my team been experiencing Facebook glitches that are they are repetitive and they are common. And look, we just lost Donnie. There's another Facebook glitch.
Yeah, well, that's probably by design, like everything else.
Facebook glitches. It's like they're at war with me, like without saying it.
Daisy's got it right. She said I was Daisy 10 ponies a minute ago. Now I'm a Facebook user.
Yeah. Yeah, and Candy Fowler saying Donnie Randall did it by himself in solitude. That's right. All we have done, we planted seeds with Donnie, but Donnie done it himself, to be honest. I think we've all shone on Donnie, but like Donnie is a individual, independent, and he wanted to do it himself, and he did.
He's back.
Yep, I'm back.
Well, we're way past the top of the hour already. Did you want to stay on?
Who cares?
All right.
Time flies by when you're having fun. So.
Yep.
I'll try and get David on the show next time. But next time we will go through it with David.
What we got to do, especially with a new guest that's never joined us, is we got to bring him into the studio before a show to make sure that he can join us. You can't expect to do everything the last minute. He
was expecting to come into the studio using his phone, and he reached some problems using his phone, and he didn't expect that. Neither did I.
Well, my guess is it's probably the browser that he's using. He's got to use maybe Firefox or Google or something. Or maybe the browser is not compatible to join.
If not Google Chrome, then Samsung Internet is all right to use. Although in America it is a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I got to go stir that pot. I'll be back.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, like it's not I'm set in my ways. I'm open-minded. However, I recognize there's religion holds energy. It holds destruction, chaos, and it also holds sanctuary for some. Religion holds energy, and some people are tuned into it. Some Christians, religion has saved some. I know Christians more than I don't really know Buddhists and Islamic people, Muslims. I don't really know those kind of people, but I know Christians, and Christianity has saved their lives, I would say.
Oh yeah, yeah. This world's tried to get me killed in it several times, and God's always delivered me. Sometimes it took me a while to recover from it, but I'm still here. So, and there are times I've run solid objects through other solid objects on the highway.
Candy says
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Candy says, "What's for dinner, Jim?" Jim's stirring the pot as he usually does. And Facebook user says, "I was late coming here due to a doctor's appointment. What do you think about Jesus coming to you at age 2 and God and Jesus coming in dreams at times?" So there you go. There we have a Facebook user who actually has made connection. And I'd say you could call that mental illness, or you could call that an honor, a blessing, divine, that God and Jesus come to you. I've met people who speak to God frequently, as well as Jesus, and I believe them as well. Some of us have been chosen to connect with these higher consciousness, you know. In fact, you can connect with angels using prayer, and they listen to you even though you can't see them. And also, I'll answer a question that Jim asked you earlier, Donnie. Do extraterrestrials have souls? And the answer is yes, they do, and no, they don't. Some do, some don't. I'd say the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Nordics, they all have souls. The short greys don't have souls. Tall greys don't have souls. Archons don't have souls. They're soulless beings. Not all. So it's a bit of both. The answer to that is because we have possibly over 82 different species of extraterrestrials that frequent this planet. They live below the surface of the earth, below the ocean, on the ocean bed, where we have not navigated. We know more about the moon and the universe than we do about the ocean bed, you know.
Yes, sir. Well, the ones that took me, like I said, they didn't have a soul. They just They were just there, just flatlined. So
Candy says, Donnie Lothridge, do you think those aliens you met were A1 or they were like two greys?
they were like short grays, like the ones you see at Area 51.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they look like, Area 51. When I went out there, the guy I was with asked me did I feel at home because they had them little statues on the side of the highway out there. The stores and stuff had them out front, and I was with military intelligence. He asked me, he said, "Well, Donnie, do you feel at home?" I said, "No, not really." So, but making a joke.
Yeah, which wasn't a funny joke, was it really?
So then Paula got involved, my wife. We had to ask him if he knew where Elvis was. The statue was on the side of the road. So.
Facebook user said God was clear like Jesus, but God's face was blurry. Yes, don't question your sanity. Embrace it and go with it. I've encountered angels on 4 separate occasions. I never thought I was worthy. I thought angels might be real, but I didn't know they were real until I actually encountered them. I didn't think I was worthy of meeting angels, and I know I am. I haven't met one for quite a while, admittedly, but they were very wise, all-knowing, celestial, divine. And like, it was an honor, a true honor. Meeting any spiritual entity is a true honor for me, to be honest with you. A Facebook user says something has gathered us and are protecting our soul patterns. Yeah, life is what you make it, but like, we are all being watched. All of us have angels attached to us, even if you don't see them. We all had angels attached to us, allocated to us, to actually respond to us and try and offer us some clarity in our life if they can. It depends on what frequency you flow, to be honest with you. If you're an atheist and closed-minded, then you probably will never encounter an angel in your life. Or
yeah, we all have angels around us. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Candy Fowler says there's lower astral and upper astral. Entities that contact humanity are in one of the two places, which makes a big difference. Facebook user says angels and lots of others
we're not doing that.
Shift in this.
Do what, Bradley? Facebook user say what?
Angels and lots of others. I don't quite know. Shift in this time.
You're right here with me.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. It's a pleasure to have you here, as always. And it's a thank you for your contributions to the forum as well.
Are you mad?
No.
It's good to hear Donnie is a success story. He was had a troubled mind at one time, and now he's actually saved himself. And that's what it's all about. You need to save yourself, because no one's going to do it for you.
I don't know.
Facebook there's lots of other stuff is connected to us. I mean, I agree with that. It's if we recognize sometimes signs. Roald Dahl says those who don't believe in magic will never see it. That's what Roald Dahl said.
I'm on TV right there.
About magic. And yeah, spirituality is recognizing yourself, recognizing Mother Gaia is an energy that controls Earth. Also, the proof of Mother Gaia, if you walk barefoot in the grass or barefoot in the sea, you will feel the energy of Mother Gaia, you know, basically, which tells you that she's there. Each planet has its own energy anyway. We have Mother Gaia. Other planets have other gods and goddesses, believe it or not. But how can I prove that? I can't. I can only share it with you as a spiritualist from what I know. But I can't prove that, a lot of what I say.
Yeah, the Bible's full of other gods and people worshiping other things.
Yeah.
So they're all real and all there. So.
Thank you, Dave Fowler said that's a good reference, Bradley. Yeah, walk barefoot. You'll feel the energy. You'll feel good about yourself. Wearing trainers, Nike trainers, Adidas trainers, insulate your soul from the planet and deprive you of the energy that you should be rewarded with. Facebook user says the Bible is a book of code. Absolutely. The Bible is an enigma. If you are not familiar or very good at translating enigma using your intuition, then you will not understand it and you will ruffle the Bible off. Forgive me for swearing, as a book of bullshit. And I hear a lot of that lately from people who don't really know what they're talking about. The Bible is a book of energy, a book of code. It's an enigma. It's a book of numbers. It's a book of rituals, a book of prayers, a book summoning angels written.
Yeah.
The Bible is so many things.
Yeah.
Book of numbers, but a book of enigmas, a book of code. Did you know the Bible actually, I think it was World War II, this guy cracked the German enigma. It was called the Enigma Code. The Bible cracked the code and saved hundreds of thousands of lives and loads of merchant navy ships from being sunk, carrying food to this country and America. No, carrying food to this country. The Bible cracked the code. And the guy who cracked it was gay, and because he was gay, he got no recognition. However, he used the Bible to crack the Enigma Code, which the Germans used, plotting submarines to blow up merchant ships carrying food to England. This gay guy, he actually used the Bible to crack the Enigma Code, and it's very clever how he did it. Thank you, Candy Fowler. Symbology. Symbology, signs, symbols, and sigils is the language of the gods. And that's what you must understand. Even like hieroglyphs, language of the gods. And you could even go as far as saying some crop circles are the language of the gods. Also, with crop circles, people say they're man-made. I'm not going to argue that, because some are man-made, but some are made by the government using their satellites. They can actually create crop circles, and also extraterrestrials and spiritual entities can create crop circles as well. Orbs, all beings can create crop circles. Crop circles, the Earth, as it rotates, it actually it rotates like an unbalanced tire, and it shakes. And the crop circles help to balance the rotation of the Earth. Of course, it's a spinning harmony. That's what crop circles do. I don't know if you know that. Crop circles, yeah, they actually serve a purpose as well as share information. Facebook user says, cherish your darkness, it makes you wise. Absolutely. In darkness is life as well. Yeah, binary code. Thank you, Candy. Candy Fowler says binary code creates them. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the binary code might have been used for Morse code as well.
Oh, Mr. Jim?
We're chatting about everything, Jim, at the moment. We've got 14 likes. That's a lot of likes. Wow. Thank you so much, everyone. That's a lot. Yeah, so a Facebook user says, cherish your darkness, it makes you wise. Candy Fowler says, wish we knew who said that about the darkness. Don't you just love a mystery? Don't you just love the suspense of not knowing? Don't you just love the suspense? Life is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Life would be boring. There's a saying that a shaman said this, life would be boring without secrets, don't you think?
Yeah.
So think of how boring life would be in heaven.
I don't know if it would be boring, actually.
No,
that's what you just said, right? That's what the shaman just said. If you knew everything, there was no mystery. How boring would that be?
I don't think you know everything in heaven. Just because you've been to heaven, I don't think you know all. That's like saying if you're a Freemason, you know all, and that's not true, because you've got the inner circle, then you've got the inner circle. So because you're a Freemason, that doesn't give you privilege to know everything that the Freemasons
Nobody knows all. Nobody knows all.
Nope, we all learn it. That's a good sign we're still alive. We're learning.
Mary King said, when I had a big circle shape in the grass and a triangle shape too, but mine looked just like a ship's landed. Wow. Amazing, Mary King. Mary King, I invite you to appear on this show because I think you are very esoterically intellectual as well. Blessed with paranormal phenomena. Mary King, you need to come on this show. This is a shout out to Mary King. Come on, come and join her. Huh? Also, it'd be Candy Fowler and Daisy Temponies would be welcome as well. We've got quite a lot of people watching though, really. Like oh god, what happened there? Like yeah, Jonathan Kipp was watching. Neil Foister, he was moderator for me actually in the alien groups. Yeah, he's watching. Thank you for joining us. Vic Makaroff is here. They're just being silent, but they're watching. They're watching you, watching me.
See, I don't show Vic being here. It's different on different platforms, I guess.
Well, I got privileged access, I suppose. Tiffany Reynolds is with us.
Yes, sir.
Mary King says, I'm sorry. I've been crying a lot past 2 days. Maybe video another time.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mary. Crying relieves stress, and afterwards you can feel good and wholesome after crying, to be honest with you. Crying is a good way to relieve grief and stress.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Everything happens for a reason, you know. God, Jim's like an advert for cigarettes, isn't he, really?
So everything happened for a reason. That must include even all the bad aspects of things happening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whether we approve or disapprove, everything.
You know, it's like going down the road, you know, on a winter's morning on the way to work. Then you get a flat tire right away. You got to pull over to the side of the road. You're pissed off. You got to get out, get all dirty, change the tire out in the cold. But then again, if you hadn't had that flat, you might have went down the road a little ways and got wiped out.
Yeah.
So who knows, right?
Yeah, who knows?
That's right. That's happened to me a lot driving a tractor trailer. The reason why I said a wreck always happens in front of you, behind you, or right on top of you. Because you don't ever know what's going on up the road in front of you.
Well, thank you for joining us, Donnie. It was a pleasure to have you here as well. Like, yeah, it's gone quite well. I hope you're making enough stew. Jim, I hope you're making enough stew for everybody.
It's chilly. Yeah, there's enough for everybody. Yeah.
What time we need to be over again?
Yeah.
Well, you're closer to me than anybody else is, Donnie. You're welcome.
I'm still about 10 or 12 hours from you.
Yeah, but that's like across the street compared to everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Mary King says her children were too beautiful for this world. They're safer in heaven. Yeah, Mary, I'm sorry to hear what you're sharing, but any consolation, I will say that it's, from what I gather, the next place is a much better place. You're not carrying when you cross over, experience transition to the next life, you release your baggage, all your worries and cares, you release it all. You still carry with you, but you release it all. You just carry memories of it.
Yeah, every time I've been in the presence of God in heaven, I didn't want to leave. And every time you said you got to go back because I ain't through with you yet. So.
And when I've encountered angels, I never wanted them to leave. I wanted them to stay with me longer than they did because I was honored. It was a true privilege.
Yeah.
Candy says wholeness and balanced vibrations, my beautiful friends.
Thank you, Candy. Come on the show, Candy. Unmask yourself. Drop the veil. Unveil yourself. Don't be shy.
That's right.
We'll look after you.
Yes, I'll be in
You're
that
wise
order.
and all-knowing.
If Bradley and I can come on with our ugly mugs, I'm certain you can come on with no problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Speak for yourself, Jim, really. I got over 700 requests from women on Facebook that I haven't accepted. I'm amazed actually at my age. I didn't think I'd attract.
Yeah, but you know what they're after though, right? They're after the almighty buck like everybody else is.
They're either after my wallet, a relationship, or a passport. And after an English passport if they marry me. That's what they get, an English passport. But I'm being selfish. I'm not looking for a relationship. I'm being selfish, and I'm looking at having a relationship with myself and the higher consciousness, I guess. Yeah. Candy, she'd take a plane ticket. Candy was coming over here actually, only her chauffeur. I don't know what to say about her chauffeur really. I'll try and be nice. Yes, so Candy had a chauffeur to bring her over here to see me, which I thought was really something to look forward to. However, unfortunately, her chauffeur became a little bit unbalanced, and it didn't happen. That's the best way to put it.
He became unglued.
Philly Phil, God bless his soul. Yeah, may he find sanctuary eventually. You know, can happen to anybody, I guess. You know?
Well, I didn't realize he got ill.
No.
He got sick. Yeah.
Yes, in a sense, yeah. In a sense, he got ill. Thank you, Candy. Yes, he did get ill. That's the right way to put it, I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Mentally ill, yeah. Very. He became delusional, yeah. Wow. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? Didn't see that coming. Candy didn't see that coming. Neither did I. Yeah, Candy was coming to visit me, and then he became delusional. I didn't see that coming. Just goes to show you, isn't it? Someone perfectly normal can become delusional. Wow.
Well, I didn't know about the way he was acting at the time. I blocked him. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I had no idea. You know.
He probably could have done with your help. Actually, you might have been able to help him. I don't know. I don't know if you can help mental illness, Jim. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I could give it a shot, but they got to be willing to want to help it. You know, you can't force it on them.
I know you can help physical health, but mental health is a bit of a different ball game, isn't it? Really? Yeah, they got to want your help, really.
I'm on here every time trying to help mental health. You know, with the brainwashing of religion, but nobody wants to listen.
Does Donnie need your mental health therapy? Donnie, are you mental?
I'm already hooked to the beach, so I mean.
Are you mental, Donnie?
No, sir, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I think I'm pretty sound.
You're in good spirits. I am surprised that you are. I would thought you would. The trauma, it was a trauma that you experienced. I thought you would be an alcoholic or a drug addict at least, you know. And you're still holding a relationship together with your wife, who you deeply are in love with. So I think that goes. I admire that, Donnie, about you very much. You've normally got a smile on your face.
Yes, sir.
Candy says fate is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it can be.
Depending on what the fate is, I would assume, you know. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour. I think maybe we should call it.
Yeah.
So
I'd
like to thank everybody for joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, give Donnie a break, I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, Donnie.
I thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your interactions, and we'll see you all on the next one.
Yeah, thank you very much. Before you go, Candy said to you, Donnie. Candy said to you, Donnie, like I said too, Donnie holds himself and his life together better than most would. That's what Candy said about you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody, we'll see you all on the next one.
All right.
Goodbye. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.